It's the Sunday Chronicle on Stacks 92.1. It's the Sunday Chronicle. We gon' give the news and keep you up to date. From crimes to the politics, you gon' know what's up around your way. We give 2 thumbs up to everyone out here doing their thing. We gon' show mad love to all the ones working hard in communities. It's the Sunday Chronicle.
Good morning and welcome to the Sunday Chronicle. I'm your host, Yanice Jackson, coming to you from Stacks 92.1 FM. This is the platform for the community because community knows what community needs. I'd like to thank all my listeners for being here again bright and early on this Sunday. I am so happy to be here. So, of course, there's me, but we also have my wonderful co-host, Span.
Hello. Hello.
Say hi. I mean, you got to say more than that.
I'm Span and I'm awesome. And I'm glad to be here with Yanice because it's fun.
Yes.
And I get to meet people who are involved in things that I hadn't considered or did not know or never really spent in my life to provide that kind of space for.
Yes.
So I'm appreciative for that opportunity. However, our guest here today is a person I have met before and I have respect for right off the bat. So this is especially exciting for me.
Yes, well, thank you. See, you're my witty co-host, so you got to say some stuff.
What do you mean? You don't have wit?
I mean, I have a ton of it, but you have to have some too. So,
and that ends that conversation.
And mic drop on that one. So I want to share a little bit about my guest, Daedalian. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
I mean, long time no see.
Yeah, and for me, a long time since I've been at this facility. I mean, it's been ages. We'll get into that.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell my listeners a little bit about your background and a little bit about you. Daedalian Lowry is well known in Mid-Michigan through his time spent as a broadcaster, festival MC, and club and event DJ. He's a graduate of Lansing Community College and Michigan State University. His voice has been part of the Lansing radio scene for over 20 years with an on-air resume that includes WVIC, WJXQ, WFMK, and most predominantly LCC radio station, WLMZ. It was formerly, is it changed now? It's LCC Connect.
No, it's still WLNZ.
Okay, so it's still the same call letters. Okay. And you are a lifelong resident, correct? Of Lansing?
I've been. Mason is where I grew up, but a lot of my time has been in Lansing.
Okay, and so you're the general manager of WLNZ, and over the past year, you've been working to develop LCC Connect, which is a podcast platform that brings community and college together. So again, thank you for being here. And I know I've said a mouthful, but that's all good stuff. So tell me, a little bit about you and what's going on with you now, Daedalian.
Yeah, you kind of dived into it a little bit. But before we get into that, I want to say this is the place where, I was over on WVIC back when it was Classic Hits. I was over here at Q106, which, of course, probably people know Span from Q.
Right.
And I had what had to be the worst on-air name of all time when I first got into radio.
What name did you use? Did you use Daedalian?
Well, it was one of those things where I have an unusual name as Daedalian.
As an unusual named person. I'm right there with you.
All three of us really unusual names in the studio today.
Depending on which context you're going with. But go ahead.
My program director felt that it was too unusual for the format, so I was required to change my name. And what happened was I had to make a decision, and my girlfriend had said Hayes because of Isaac Hayes. I was a huge fan, and still a huge fan. So she's like, well, you got a deep voice, let's go with that. And then I wanted to go with Cooper. But it kept getting shot down by all my friends. So somehow Conrad Hayes became my on-air name.
Wow.
It was the worst thing ever.
You could have just gone with Hayes, bro.
I know. Well, now you could do that.
When I think of Conrad, is it Conrad Hilton? Is that the
Conrad Hilton?
Is that
I'm not positive about that.
Is that? Oh, okay, never mind.
Anyway,
No.
so then eventually Kevin Conrad came over, and we were making the Conrad connection, so I had to change my name again, and then I think I was Dave Lowry back then.
Dave.
I can't remember.
The fact that you were not the Daedalian on the radio just feels like a missed opportunity for the world.
Wow.
And you can fill many, many landfills with dumb things radio program managers have said.
That is true.
I love the
I
name.
can testify that. And when I ended up over at Q, that's when finally I changed my name to just Daedalian. Of course, one of the other on-air talents gave me the pseudo nickname of Pimp Dalian or Daedalian the Rock Pimp. I've been all sorts of things.
Did you like that pimp name?
With that hair.
It was all right. I embrace.
The way your hair is so perfectly laid down, I kind of get that. What's up, ladies? Kind of thing.
That was bad.
That's kind of. That's got to be the scariest pimp invitation.
Yeah, I started thinking of like a crazy leprechaun or something. I'm like, what is going on here?
Which would be probably more fitting for my look. You got the red hair going on.
St. Patty's Day is coming up, and
yeah, there it is. All right, so now to get to your actual question. And Span's like, oh yeah, Daedalian, he'll get right to the point. No, he won't.
I think we're all guilty here, but it's okay.
Anyway, so yes, to answer your question, what I have been working on is there was a point where a lot of changes went through at WLNZ, and I had to create some content, some sort of programming content for the station, and to fill that content, I came up with LCC Connect, which is a podcast platform.
Okay.
To dive a little further in that, if you'd like me to do that, the concept basically is to take all the podcasts of Lansing Community College and now our community and put them all in one place.
Yes.
So if you go to Hear One, you're going to also find all the other connections, LCC Connect, that are all a part of these different podcasts. That's the idea.
And I love it. I love the concept. And I feel like we should spread the word, right? This is, it's not a secret, but we have to make sure that it gets out there because you actually have classes available, right? To help people with podcasts and they're even, people available to help them with equipment and stuff, right?
Well, yes, there are podcast classes that are available. That's going through, I want to say BCI, but that isn't correct. I'm trying to think of the correct name at the moment in time. It doesn't really matter. The point is yes, they can do podcasting classes, and they had it just available recently. It's a 2-day class. Mm-hmm. I think more importantly, though, I have been there at WLNZ for about 20 years, and part of my goal has always been to, because it's at Lansing Community College, my goal has always been make it open to the community to come in and learn if you just want to learn. So honestly, I will be happy to talk with somebody who has never done podcasting before, a community member, if they've got an idea for a show, a concept, something they want to create. I am open to talking to anybody and helping them, walking them through the process of what you need to do and how you do it.
And I think that this is awesome. And I want to ask you a little bit more about your background and how radio led to the position at LCC and you know what made you go from one form of radio to another. But that'll be when we come back. But before we go, I want to remind our listeners that you are listening to the Sunday Chronicle, heard on Stax 92.1 FM. This is the platform for the community because community knows what community needs. We'll be back after this.
At Lansing Community College, I'm learning for my future. LCC offers 1- and 2-year pathways to careers in healthcare, IT, manufacturing, and other professional trades. More than 500,000 professional trades jobs will need to be filled in Michigan by 2026. So I know I'm learning for a great career. I belong at LCC. You belong here too. Visit lcc.edu/youbelong and enroll today.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No, no one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more.
800-668-2493. 800-668-2493. 800-668-2493. That's 800-668-2493.
And welcome back to the Sunday Chronicle. I'm your host, Yanice Jackson, coming to you from Stax 92.1 FM. This is the platform for the community because community knows what community needs. Today, our special guest is Daedalian Lowry from Lansing Community College. He works at LCC Connect, and he's telling us a little bit about his career in radio. And so as we transition to the rest of our interview, just in this world today, it's competition, especially in radio. You have to be like really good, to stay in radio and remain relevant. So why did you choose radio?
That is an excellent question. As a lifelong resident of Lansing, I will tell you that there were two morning show personalities that kind of actually got me into it. Mm-hmm. One of them was on Q, the other was on WVIC, oddly enough. Now, that was WVIC back in the day when it used to be more of a pop station. Okay. And the two of them used to have these morning shows, and they'd go back and forth. It was a different vibe and a different style of radio back at that time. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Now you can get away with a lot more back then.
Well, you get away with a lot more, but as you know, a lot of the times when you were on radio now, you have sister stations. Mm-hmm. Back then, it was individual stations, and there was almost this poke and jab.
Oh yeah,
that would go on. It was a beautiful, almost subtle war, if you will.
So it's a beautiful rivalry. It's not bad.
No, it wasn't. It was a lot
embraced.
of
It was embraced. It was a sportiness to it.
Yes,
then.
And it was that that vibe, that style of radio that got me into it. Plus, the other thing is I'm a huge music fan. I am just big music fan. And it doesn't really matter what type of music it is. I can tell you a lot about rock. I can tell you a lot about hip hop. I can tell you a lot about jazz. I can tell you a lot about blues. And a lot of that has to do with the different stations. I just love music.
Do you consider yourself an aficionado? Is that what it is? A music aficionado? Aficionado.
I don't know.
You and those $5 words.
I almost feel like aficionado is the word to use
it
for this. Because I do. I have a huge affection for music. But you are right. It is aficionado. But at the same time, I like aficionado.
I think aficionado is more accurate. I agree with you 100%.
I'm going to use it.
Because see, that's how it was just, it kind of seems like it should sound that way. When I look at the word. But anyway, that doesn't matter.
So music essentially got me into it, but and really what I'm doing now isn't that far removed from it. This is social media meets radio.
Okay, and so is that why you went from commercial to LCC to kind of?
Not really. I mean, really, what happened was I spent time at the at WLNZ for the longest time, and then what happened was I got into commercial radio station. As anybody in radio can tell you, a lot of the times you have to work multiple jobs to keep your job at a radio station.
100%. Because I worked for 2 years for free before I got a full-time gig in radio.
That's exactly it. Radio isn't necessarily a high-paying gig unless you get the right gig.
So you got to have a love for it and to stay in it and be good at it. See, I respect radio as a craft, right? I think it's great that people can come on and start podcast and those sorts of things. But I appreciate learning about broadcasting, inflection in voices, different things like that. I look at it like that, and that's how I treat it. So anyway, enough about me. We're talking about you. So tell me, we're talking about radio, and who was the most influential person in your career? You talked about the two rivalry DJs.
I mean, I'll tell you their names if you want.
I don't know. Is there a rule against that, Span?
I don't think so.
Not at all.
Because I want to know.
Unless you're talking mad smack about them.
Like,
I'd be
right.
like,
and they used to talk mad smack about each other.
Who was that?
It was Tim Barron, and it was Tim Barron and Rich Michaels.
I was going to say Rich Michaels.
Oh, my God.
I was going to say Rich Michaels, but I wasn't sure. I'm like, I don't want to say anything.
Were they a major influence? I suppose in making me want to get into radio, they were. I've had the opportunity to kind of work with each of them in different capacities over the years, and they're both great guys.
Yeah, but once you start the microphone craft, you begin the process of learning how to interpret who you are through the microphone in less time. And that is years and years of embarrassing yourself in front of strangers until you learn who you really are when the microphone turns on.
Yeah. Do you mean you have to have like an alter? Do you have to have an alter ego? Is that what you mean? Like to be behind the mic? Because I don't. No, because I don't have a name for it.
There are some cats that do. There are some people that will have an alternate ego.
Yeah,
really.
Because that's how they unlock having a personality. Because it's one thing to be yourself, but when you're on radio, you can't just be yourself. People don't want to know how you take a shower. Right. Unless how you take a shower is really interesting.
Yeah.
It doesn't creep people out. And you have to learn how to translate who you are into this radio being that compels people to listen to you.
Well, I don't want to creep people out. Okay.
I mean,
we can change the subject and just creep people out.
He was on the money with that. One of the things that I remember being told all the time was the listener doesn't want to know you had a bad day.
Yes.
No, they don't.
Because they're tuning into you to pick themselves up.
Yeah.
You don't need.
No, I know. I don't want to hear it either. So, but our time is growing near. I can't believe it. Right?
Yeah, flew right by, didn't it?
Yeah, that means
this happened when I interviewed you.
Yes, that means you got to come back. So we got
to do it again. Oh no!
So we can talk more smack. I mean, more good stuff. And with that being said, people, I didn't even mention that LCC is the sponsor for today's show, so I want to give them a round of applause for them. And this helps us, sponsorship, donations, helps to keep the Sunday Chronicle on the air. So we want to thank our sponsor. We'd like to thank you, Daedalian, for being here. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. I'd love to come back again.
We're going to have you back, Span. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
And every bit of your wittiness.
Thank you.
And with that being said, people, I want to thank you for listening to the Sunday Chronicle. Today, I'm your host, Yanice Jackson, coming to you from Stax 92.1 FM. This is the platform for the community because community knows what community needs. Make it a great day.
At Lansing Community College, I'm learning for my future. LCC offers 1- and 2-year pathways to careers in healthcare, IT, manufacturing, and other professional trades. More than 500,000 professional trades jobs will need to be filled in Michigan by 2026. So I know I'm learning for a great career. I belong at LCC. You belong here too. Visit lcc.edu/youbelong and enroll today.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now to learn more.
800-668-2493. 800-668-2493. 800-668-2493. That's 800-668-2493.
Do you own a timeshare? Well, face the facts. You made a mistake. You made a bad purchase. A timeshare is not an investment. It's a money pit that continues forever. If you use your timeshare, that's great. But if you don't, and you want to legally get out of your contract, call my friends right now at the Timeshare Exit Hotline. They're an experienced team of lawyers who help good people like you get out of a timeshare contract that they just don't want. Don't throw away your money on maintenance fees. Use it for things you really want. We can help you end your timeshare contract and stop the money drain immediately. If you're ready to move on with your timeshare, call our team right now.
Cancel your timeshare now with a free call. 800-953-0866. 800-953-0866. 800-953-0866. That's 800-953-0866.